Alrighty, so I want to fit straight lines to this uh, stigmatization curve right here. So let's take a look at that. And so there are a couple ways I could do this. So one way is simply if I come down here and click on this curve, notice there's a little gray dot now, and if I hover over it, I see the point is 0.011. So I can get a point on that graph that way. Now, here's one of the issues is then I can come up here and I can put it up here to help my feeble memory as I do this, 0.11 like that. And then if I wanted, I could then say to label it. That's kind of nice. I've got it there then, but the label might get in my way at times when I'm doing other things. So I could find a point that way, and now I could get another point, say here at 10. I could click that, and there's 10, and notice though it's not sticking around very easily, but I can hold it. I can try to remember that point and go from there. Now there's a little bit easier way to do it. It does involve some mathy notation, so I'm going to leave that there for the moment. But I'm going to put in a general point. I'm just going to call it x1. So I just typed x and then the 1, and it automatically made a subscript, comma, y1, and close that. Now it says add a slider. I'm going to pick all. And what that does is it allows me to move these points around. Now it automatically picks the bounds for what these can be. I don't really like these. I know I want to start at least 0, and actually I know I want it to be 0. But so I can click on any of that bottom part down there, and then I can put, say, a 0. This x1 could be as big as 1. It doesn't really matter. And then I don't have to put a step size, and I'm not going to. And I just say enter. And now notice it put it at 1. I'm not going to want it there. I'm going to want it at 0. And now the y, I look at the y values, and you see they're between 0 and 1. And notice up here, it just plotted the point 0, 1, because x1 is 0, y1 is 1. And but here's the nifty part is if I can grab that point and I can start putting it wherever I want, well, at least up to what the bounds are. And so notice with the x I couldn't move it any farther than 1. I'm stuck there. I can't go that way with it, but I can move it up and down. Now on the y though, I know I don't want anything smaller than 0, and looking at the picture here, I definitely don't want anything bigger than 0.2. And so there it set it at 1 and 0.2, but I'm going to come down here and actually try to put it right on here, and I'll look at the x value. So that's the important part. I look at the x value and I try to get the y value right, and it looks like I did. Now actually I'm probably a little off, but I might not be able to tell that very well. And so I've got a slightly different answer, but it will work for us. So I'm going to go ahead and get rid of that. And so by doing that, I've got an x1, y1, and we'll see why that helps me out as well. Now I want to get the next point over here, and I think I'll put a point at 10, x equal 10. And so I'll do x2, oops, forgot to say equals, or not equals. I forgot to put them as a point. X2, comma, Y2, and do that. Now again, I'll add a slider, all, and now I want to move this point around to be about here. Now notice that'll have to take me all the way up to 10. That goes to 10. I could just leave it at 10. And the y's I could just leave where they are. Notice there's it starts at 1, 1, so there's the point. I can grab it and notice things changing as I go. I'm going to bring it down here, and now I can see that x is 10, so that part I got right. Now as I look at that picture, I'm a little too high, and I can see that. I can see I'm a little too high. Now the way it can get hard to kind of move these things around. Well, remember, if I scroll the mouse, so I'm just scrolling the mouse in, and I can make this much bigger so I can really see what's going on. And notice when I made it much bigger, now I'm at 9.9, and so I'm going to grab this, and again I'm at 10, oops, 10.7, 10, there we go, 9.9, 10, and 0.48. I'm still a little bit above. Now the question is, how anal retentive am I? As long as I have it here, I'll bring it down just a little bit. It's probably just a little low. Now, if I want, if I really want to work at it, I can actually come in here and type things. So there I backed it up in 0.0475. I really like the way that looks. Now I'm going to zoom back out. I'm going to zoom into this one and try to do the same thing. Notice, see, that's too high. I can see here it's at about 0.11, right? And that's at 1, 2. I do that. Now that point looks good. So I just clicked in there and changed my number, and it moved the point, and I could see it really well. But I got in about the right place simply by moving things around. Okay, so there I've got that, and that looks pretty straight. It's a little curved, but pretty straight in between those. So now I'm going to find the equation of that particular line. And so I need the slope of that one. Since I started at x1, I'm going to call these m1 and b1. I'm going to get the slope. So m1 equals, and just use my formula. Y1 minus Y2, so Y1 minus Y2. This is why it's nice to use those. And then, now if I highlight the whole thing and hit the slash key for divide, it makes a nice fraction there, and I'll do x1 minus x2. And there it gives me my slope, and I know it's m1. So there's my slope, and at this point, then I can find my intercept. Now in this case, I know what my intercept is because I'm crossing the y-axis right here at 0.011, that number up there to the left. So I know that's the y-intercept. But in general, how do I find the y-intercept? Well, a nice way to find it is just to take one of my points and solve for b, so I know that b1 equals, and I'm going to come down here just to type in, so it's giving me an error right now. But remember, what we have is that y equals mx plus b. So if I solve for b, I'm going to start with one of my y values, subtract the slope times one of the x values, and that'll give me b. So here I'm just going to go with y1 minus m1 times, well, actually, I don't even have to do a times symbol. I can just write B1, X1, X1. And notice what's nice is I can check that, and that is right because I knew that was the y-intercept. So there I found one of my straight lines, and now if I were to plot that as a straight line, I could say y equals m1 x plus b1. And notice I get the straight line, and if I zoom in, there's my straight line. It connects those 2 points, and it's, you know, not too bad for this curve. It's a little bit off, and we'll check that in another video. But we'll stop this video here with just finding a single line. So I've got one line, and we'll stop there.